Yeah, that wind's gone. Fantastic. I don't understand why everyone's so joyous.
This can't be anywhere but Westminster.
It's a momentary detour.
This is a matter of national interest.
I'm feeling very sort of like it's brilliant all these people are here, but it might be the end of something. Well, you make me feel better.
It's a bit further to go yet, isn't it?
What, till Monday?
Well, it's one day at a time at the moment.
Has all of this made you feel differently about Britain, do you think?
In what way?
No, I don't know. Not so much.
Even amid all the noise and passion of this demo, for us it had a feeling of sadness. In its own small way, our mission has been to get people on various sides of national divides to listen to each other. 3 years on from 2016, that often feels like a vain hope.
One of the most insidious pieces of media are vox pops.
That's what I do all day. It's important that you and me hear from people that we didn't hear from really for 10 or 15 years.
BBC vox pops, isn't it?
No, I think they're crap vox pops.
A lot of people are sick of vox pops, especially, it seems, vox pops from Stoke-on-Trent. And yet that's where we are on the morning of so-called Super Saturday, waiting for the city to wake up.
His 15 Labour MPs could back the Johnson in Parliament today, but Matthew Harris in the Times writes that they risk becoming Brexit's useful idiots.
We're going to try and talk to people. I don't know.
To be honest, we're full of doubt about doing this as well.
Say, let Brexit happen. Let's see the difference.
Well, it made things even worse though. I mean,
No, how can it?
well, because all the forecasts are the economy will tank.
It'll come back.
8% of GDP we're going to lose over 10 years.
It'll come back.
All we're doing is chasing the Brexit shaggy dog. Yeah, again.
Standing around outside the market in Vauxhall about Brexit. It's done now. It was done years ago.
It's not good.
The story of Stoke is woven through our experience of the last few years. It was doing vox pops, talking to people, right here, that first told us that Leave might win.
So out this side of the clock. And we got in that side of the clock.
You're lying.
Oh,
That's
right,
what you do. The only people composing.
Do you know about the EU referendum coming up on...
Yeah, everyone's voting out, so don't they?
You're definitely voting out then?
Without a shadow of doubt.
If British Asian people like him are voting to leave, the Remain campaign, or the Labour end of it, is really in trouble.
We followed local MP Ruth Smith as she campaigned passionately for Remain.
Off we go to make the case for Europe.
How are you going to vote?
Out.
Really?
Out.
Probably leave.
I tried.
Thank you very much.
No. 27.
We also accompanied her to a pottery factory, where again, most people were voting for Brexit, apart from the management.
How are you voting? How are you voting? Both of you?
15% of what you make here is sold directly into the EU. We still want to trade with them. We're still going to have the immigration. It's not that we haven't got legitimate worries, this just isn't the way that we're going to fix it. You do that like you've been doing it for 42 years.
I don't want to over-dramatise this too much, but God, some people are angry. That's the truth.
That's good, But can you just do a final...
This year, that pottery factory closed, with the loss of nearly 400 jobs.
There's a big dog in a van. Well, very powerful memories of coming here. I actually do. And Brexit's not directly related to why it closed, but it can't have helped.
The MP we were with that day has found herself on the wrong end of all of the divisiveness and nastiness that have become part of politics. Ruth Smith is Jewish, a Labour MP, pro-Brexit, anti-No Deal, and female.
Blimey, hello.
Hello.
What's it been like being you in the last 2 years?
It's going really well. A tea for both of you.
Yeah,
Well, you're still here.
I am still here.
1,040 tea bags.
It's a December election. There's going to be a lot of tea drunk to get through it.
A lot of women well before retirement age have decided to leave politics.
Yeah.
Why are you still here?
I'm still here because I won't be bullied by anybody, ever.
Oh, thanks very much.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
I've been blessed as much as the abuse and stuff that I get, that I've never had it at home. So up here, it's always been my safe space. But something is changing. So you can, I mean, there was some graffiti that was, by some I mean like a 20-foot piece of graffiti that was put up just by a school. There's been some screaming in the streets. That's never happened up here
Well, what
before.
did the graffiti at the school say?
Boris for England, Smeed is a Nazi.
Wow.
Something flipped in the last couple of years about politics generally.
That day in 2016.
I knew from the beginning that it was going to be a tough sell. We were about 10 years too late to have some of those conversations, I think.
Because that day in the footage, you say, I'm very passionate about this, right?
Yeah.
And now you're associated, albeit crassly, with with what some people say is the opposite position.
We had 73% Leave I represent. So
in this constituency?
In my constituency. My turnout during the referendum was higher than it ever is during general election. So as far as I was concerned, there were lots of people who don't usually participate in the democratic process at all, who were seeing if there was any point in engaging or participating. So I felt like I'd been set a test for how well I was listening or not. I'm probably going to have upset everybody by the end of this.
So it's a position of compromise, as you see, is it?
A position of compromise, that people still feel like they participate, that they're heard, that they're relevant. I think that the challenge that this has posed to our democratic norm, to the very fabric of who we are as a country, is something that most people aren't even recognising yet.
Immediately after the referendum, I thought that somehow some of the right people might come to here, and say, well, we haven't paid enough attention, what's happened here? And that seemed to last about 2 weeks. And
I'm not sure it even got 2 weeks.
It never transpired, really, did it?
No, there is a reason why Stoke-on-Trent should be talked about all the time, and it is because it embodies everything that is brilliant about our country, but also where we've gone wrong.
This is made in Dudson's. God, I'm drinking out of Dudson's mug. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's quite poignant.
It's very poignant. That's made me feel quite emotional, that interview, actually. That's maybe the issue of this election, not Boris or Jezza. Do you know what I mean? The issue in this election is, can you maintain even the merest basic kind of civility? Or we just go further down this bloody slope into God knows where. Maybe something else has come to an end as well, which is the way that we make films and cover politics here and elsewhere. Because it's no use anymore just focusing on boarded up shops and empty factories and a general sense of frustration and gloom or whatever. It doesn't tell you anything about the future. What you've really got to do is look for hope and positive thinking and people trying to make it different. You know, the way places help themselves. It's what the sort of political debate of Britain completely lacks. We're still hung up on the idea that we look to these distant men, it is usually men, to pull the levers on our behalf and make everything great from 200 or 300 miles away. Well, in my opinion, that doesn't work anymore if it ever did. We're at the home of Port Vale FC. We're about to meet the owner.
My scarf is iconic.
It's not official merch, is it?
No.
Carol Shanahan is a local tech entrepreneur and the new owner of Port Vale FC. She's part of a network of businesses and volunteers who are collaborating to address some of the city's problems.
It's not about judgment, and it's not about pity. It's only about love.
Children's services are in crisis in Stoke, and Carol and her partners have decided to try and do something about it.
It is communities really saying, I'm not putting up with this, I'm going to go and do things ourselves. So and this is what we're beginning to tap into, is people that want to make a difference, but they need some confidence building.
They've got help from a whole range of local companies to deliver 10,000 meals and play activities to schools and community centres around the city.
I'm good.
It snowballs a bit, so we've got loads of different groups now. This has opened the doors for all that kind of stuff happening as well.
Are they all ready to go out?
Soup, then we'll get it in there, put it all in, let the magic happen, that's where it's at.
What does Stoke need that it hasn't got necessarily?
More collaboration, partnerships actually coming together and wanting to genuinely work with these youngsters and make a difference with them, opposed to being, okay, we're all competing against each other.
Do you follow national politics at all? It's an election in 5 weeks.
Not something I'm looking to get into today.
So you've made friends as well today? Brilliant, brilliant.
We've just seen internal fighting, not just politically, but locally. Are you Brexit? Are you a Remainer? If you're Brexit, how are you Brexit? You know, whereas what we're talking about are families and you know, a city that actually just wants to get on. It just wants to help itself to get better.
When you start to look, that spirit of working together to find local solutions is everywhere.
Hello! Guys, call us to order, oh my goodness.
The YMCA has an innovative community-based approach to helping young people.
Everybody, welcome to a community meal. Welcome to the Wine Show. We get kids jobs, work, and we help people thrive, don't we? We can't do that on our own. We need our partners like Ixie and the chef today.
Industry.
KMF make precision metal for the likes of Costa Coffee and are leaders in giving young people good quality work.
So how do you feel as a successful business, industrial business, in a place which, and I'll do a mea culpa here, which stupid idiots like me would say sometimes is post-industrial?
Yeah, you drive me mad, yeah.
Really?
Education system for you is part of that.
Education system, and you know, we don't talk about manufacturing schools anymore. Kids are pushed to university still, not apprenticeship. That's why we start with young people. That's our whole focus on recruitment of young people.
Pretty much all the people we meet here agree that austerity has failed Stoke and the city needs more money. But they also think post-referendum politics is failing the city too.
Well, look at down here.
That Halloween night, on the latest day that Britain didn't leave the EU, what Stoke has to tell us now became clear.
What's it like living here?
It's okay, I like it.
This is quite good, don't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic, yeah, really good for the families.
I like the city. I know it's got a lot of problems, but what city hasn't?
I'm really happy to be from Stoke and proud to be from Stoke, which is nice. Events like this are great, so
is that kind of what's happened in the last 3 years? You've had more and more things like this?
Yeah, basically, I think people realised it was necessary.
For a decade, these films have explored loss, disillusionment and anger. At the start, we felt people's resentment wasn't being heard, but now anger seems to be at the heart of mainstream politics. Over the last few days, whether the people we've met are Leavers or Remainers, or who they might end up voting for in 5 weeks, are things that have almost disappeared into irrelevance. As the election grinds on, all of us have a lot to learn from them.
All right. How are you feeling? Good.
Seems good. You got toothpaste in your room?
Oh, yeah, I feel it. Usually for me, I pack Holgate total